Hi, this is Dr. Habib. Today I want to go over PCOS. It's a problem because there are three areas of main concern. And as you can tell, the problems with increased body hair, changes in periods, acne, and weight gain are very, very troublesome. So the three areas we're going to talk about today is the low progesterone, and that in itself has many, many symptoms of concern, not least disruption of the periods, and then the high DHA, which then in turn results in high cortisol, and the third one is androgen, in particular the breakdown of testosterone into dihydrotestosterone. DHT is 3 times more potent than testosterone when it comes to androgenic activity. Androgenic activity means extra body hair, facial hair, acne, hoarse voice, things like that. And that's because of this pathway called 5-alpha reductase pathway. So going into a little bit more detail. So what happens with low progesterone? Well, it works at multiple levels. The sleep can be disrupted because you have alloin receptors in the brain, and the low progesterone creates an environment of poor sleep. Irritability, even the bones can become weaker. So whilst estrogen has an osteoblastic activity, that means to build bone, so when you're premenopausal, that's good for strong bones. But progesterone works by stopping the breakdown of the bone, that means inhibiting the osteoclast, thereby supporting the bone. So that can maintain good bone health even in postmenopausal women. And then there is a relative estrogen dominance. So even if the levels of estrogen were normal, by virtue of the progesterone being low, the body senses that there is a dominance and excess of estrogen that can create nodular, cystic, fibrotic breast tenderness and other uncomfortable symptoms. When it comes to the high DHA leading to cortisol, the problem with that is that cortisol by itself has problems with excess weight and blood glucose in the short term, but it's even worse in the long term when that cortisol becomes converted to cortisone, which is a more of a steady state level of cortisol. And under inflammation, that drives the cortisol into cortisone even more, so you have much more steady levels of cortisol, which will exacerbate, a higher cholesterol, lower lean body mass, and of course weight gain and blood sugar. So cortisol is particularly affected by inflammation. The third category, the increased androgens in the form of DHT, because this 5-alpha reductase is more potent in converting the testosterone into DHT, which is 3 times more powerful than testosterone in its effect of increased facial hair, increased body fat, irregular periods, as well as acne. So it's important to understand that whilst women do need testosterone to keep the bones healthy, to keep the lean body mass, have good immune function and good brain function, the people with PCOS don't necessarily have high testosterone. They may have normal testosterone, but it's being converted by this 5-alpha hydroxylase reductase, and that is particularly influenced by insulin. So in the situation where you have surges of insulin, that stimulates luteinizing hormone leading to low progesterone. That surges of insulin activates the 5-alpha reductase, making things more androgenic. And all of these things are taking place at the same time. And so it's very, very important to get your body healthy and not have inflammation, and change the diet, because even inflammation comes from the signals from the gut microbiome. So it's important to change the diet and make the gut healthy in that process, because when you have a wholesome diet, then you're less likely to have the insulin surge. If you go to a keto diet, you have less likelihood of surge. So concentrating on the 5-alpha reductase, here is some of the common powerful ways to inhibit 5-alpha reductase. I've underlined saw palmetto and turmeric. It's interesting, isn't it, that saw palmetto can also help people with prostatic enlargement in the same way, because men have what we call aromatization, and where their testosterone is being converted to estrogen, particularly bad if they're overweight and when they don't exercise and have a bad diet. And so saw palmetto is very, very good. Turmeric is good at multiple levels because it helps actually detoxify the liver of bad estrogens, but its probably most powerful effect is on the gut microbiome. And instead of just taking the curcumin, we now use the whole turmeric in all of its forms to nourish the bacteria in the gut. And that is how we believe that the positive signals for immune function and to reduce inflammation, and how it has a positive impact on hormonal balance. But your green tea can have that, that's EGCG. And then you've got quercetin, even your omega-3 in the form of EPA and gamma-linolenic acid, GLA, as well as resveratrol, reishi, and holy basil. So it's important to maintain a lean body mass, which is, I get it's hard if you have this surge of insulin and you have this cortisol. So it all boils down to having a healthy diet, a good microbiome, where then the stimulation of the 5-alpha reductase is inhibited and the body can try to rectify itself. But should you want to learn more about assessing your hormonal balance and understanding the health of your liver and your microbiome, click the link in the bio to contact us so we can go into more detail.